I met a young gentleman, a wonderful pianist, a composer, just a first chair violist, and he was very charming, very handsome. And when we were just hanging out, and all of a sudden he expressed interest in me. And that was the first time I've heard, "You're beautiful, you're pretty, my gosh, you have beautiful eyes." When you hear those things for the first time, it's something inside of a girl that gets, yes, it awakens, something that's never been said to you. All of a sudden you're drawn to them. And as years went by, we were in a relationship for 3 years. And a handsome young man, beautiful family, and little did I know he led a double life. And so
Devil is a lie.
and so I didn't know God, came at the end of my rope, found out that he was leading a double life, and came out of the closet. And this was, my second relationship prior to my husband. And I was not saved. Came back home. My mom said, "You need to go to this church." I got saved in this church. Amen. And so I came into other relationships very much, if I could put it this way, like a nun. I cut my hair off. I have beautiful long hair. I cut it off. I did not want to attract negative attention on myself. Right. And so I began to, in my own way, form fig leaves on my life. Boundaries that weren't healthy, that weren't life-giving. And so through the process of healing, I believe the Lord led me out of that mentality or that framework over my life and spoke a new framework, which was his way of thinking about my life. But still a little guarded, little gun shy when I'm trying to take risks in relationships. So I'm kind of like dipping my toes in some of my relationships. And so when I think of drawing the lines or setting boundaries, especially for, like someone who probably will be listening, my baby girls are listening as well. It's like you have to be healed first. Yeah. You have to get a new framework about what God intends for relationships. Because what I assumed was a good match was not necessarily a healthy match. So I wanted someone like me, someone who would talk like me, get involved like me. But most men don't respond and communicate like women, if I could put it that way.
Because they're not women.
But I wanted my perception.
That's how we all,
was a mirror of myself.
True.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I got. I got a mirror of myself. And so he was,
first relationship?
yes. And so in the struggle of trying to make sense of why does this feel weird? Why is this, yes, or absorb my femininity or whatever. So I think when it comes to relationships, I think when it comes to boundaries, it's first getting healed first, especially for someone who is a little gun shy in relationships. And at the same time, having a healthy view of who you are through God's word, God's lens, and having a healthy perception of your femininity. Yeah. What are you willing to allow and not allow? Yeah. What are you willing to risk and not risk? I think most of the time when my girls come to me, I have 4 daughters, they were under the age of 2, now they're under the age of 20, 19, and now soon to be 18-year-old twins. Now they have strong identities, and I see where God, if I could put it in short, made up the difference. In things that I didn't have, I see it in them. They have strong identities, they have strong femininity as far as, qualities. And so they're very direct, very exact when it comes to choosing and setting boundaries around relationships. They're the first to speak up and the first to, to set up a space for themselves.
Hi everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Subscribe today and you'll never miss a new upload. Thanks for being a part of our Better Together community.